Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Bacon Cast. We're your host, Ethan, aka Bacon,
Kenny.
and here's your guest for the day.
Tyson, aka TJ.
So let's get it started, everybody. Our first topic for the day, right off the bat, is cloud gaming. We all know what cloud gaming is, and if you don't, you've been living in a cave. Please come out. We miss you out here. Cloud gaming, or at least for those who don't know, cloud gaming is the way of the future. It's basically streaming games directly to whatever device you're on in high quality. I mean, of course, you've got to have decent Wi Fi or decent network connection for it to look good, but in its essence, that's what it is. So, how do you do cloud gaming? How is this thing a thing? How does it happen? Does it magically appear, or do you have to commit to something, or sacrifice somebody? No, it's simple. Most of the time, it's just a monthly fee for something like Stadia or Amazon Luna. I personally prefer Amazon Luna. It's amazing. Check it out. They give you a free trial before you start, so you know what you're getting. And after that, you give them your payment information and you play. They have a bunch of games on their platforms for streaming. Really high quality games, really low quality games sometimes, Good games, bad games, games you might like, games that are exciting, games that aren't exciting. And I want to say that it is beautiful. I personally don't have great Wi-Fi like that, but I'm able to stream Control at high definition quality at 60 FPS on Amazon Luna. Just imagine how Stadia is like. I haven't even tried that yet. But, that is cloud gaming in its essence, and it's an amazing technological advancement. How do you feel about this, Kenny?
Yeah, I'm actually very, very excited. I'm very, very excited. I haven't personally tried Stadia. I think Stadia might have come out first because I never really saw commercials for this Amazon Luna thing. But I'll just say the idea of this technology being released is really, really cool to me because it's like not only are you kind of like shaping new ways of gaming for the future, but it's also something different that we're bringing to this table instead of just PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox, One S or whatever. And now, of course, you know, if you play Xbox, you ain't straight. But PlayStation, because they're better, there's just always been like an ongoing feudal war. You know what I mean? So it's just like I feel like Stadia and that Amazon Luna thing that you mentioned, it's really good for like the economy just to come together. Well, the gaming economy at least, to just come together and just play whatever games without any discrimination, without anything. And I like that. I just like the kind of like the message and the idea of coherence. So for the first time, Tyson, first time being on our show, how do you feel about that?
Alright, after thinking about it for a while, here's my thoughts. What I heard on about Stadia is that first when it came out, I heard it was trash. I ain't gonna hold you. I watched a little videos about it, say like the quality is trash, like it will glitch out. But probably they have improved it now since they still doing commercials for it. Um Amazon Luna, I never heard of it. I'm just being honest. I never heard of it. I didn't even know it existed. From what Ethan's telling me, it's probably good. But I would say it kind of conflicts with like all the other consoles because if you can play multiple like can you play console exclusives on Stadia? Because if you can, that kind of takes away from the console. And so like that'll kind of be like a console war. And another thing about what Kenny said about the gaming community being brought together, I think that's just gonna be. I know many people aren't gonna buy the Stadia or the Luna. Some people will, but not a lot. So I don't think it's gonna bring them together. I think it's just gonna be just even some. I barely doubt Like, I really doubt that somebody on the Stadia, like, who supports Stadia is gonna be like, oh yeah, Xbox some trash, PS4 some trash, PC gamers y'all can go suck some. We not really like. I don't really think that's gonna happen. Like, we just being honest.
Okay, I think you have a point. Like, I think you definitely have a point. I wasn't even really thinking, like, you know, because people are just like really, really petty. And I mean, like, I never really, I didn't really think about it like that. I didn't think about it like that. And it makes sense because it's like the way you're saying it, it's like there won't be another, um, there won't be like cohesion of a community, but like in a sense they'll be more divided, because what it's just gonna do is just like, instead of bringing them together, it'll split them further apart. So it's like, instead of half, there's now a third. And now if Luna, gains attraction, or people start to like it, now there's a fourth. And so I feel like, because everybody just loves capitalism, and we do too, everybody's gonna put their own personal work in. And I feel like I think, after hearing that statement, I've kind of changed my mind. Like, I think that's a really valid point. Like, sometimes people just won't get together, and that's facts.
And like you said, like Tyson said, people definitely aren't gonna dump consoles, like legitimate consoles, out of for cloud gaming. I mean, I'm not gonna say that cloud gaming is not a legitimate console. Well, technically, cloud gaming itself isn't a console, but it's a platform that you can play games on. And when Stadia first came out, yeah, the quality was it was horrible. And Amazon Luna a bit too, but I tried Amazon Luna, and like I said, I have really bad Wi-Fi for the most part, and it supports all controllers, basically. Well, not all controllers, but a lot of them. If your controller is Bluetooth, or you can plug it into the computer, it works with it. And I played Control, and it was a very amazing game. This was the first time I played it, and I was like, oh well, I don't want the first time I play it to be some really bad quality gaming and stuff, because I heard people were talking bad about it. And I kid you not, Control is such a beautiful game. Like, the graphics are like on par, so I did not expect it to run so smoothly. It ran smooth as butter. It was beautiful, and I love the gameplay, and I want to play it more, so I went ahead and just bought it afterwards, after my trial of Luna ran out, because, I don't be getting money like that. I need some sponsors for this podcast, so, we can continue to get that Amazon Luna, because we broke out here. But, either way, like I was saying, it's actually pretty high quality. I also tried Overcooked with my sister. I played it with her, and, we just hooked up 2 PlayStation controllers to the computer, and we played it. It was very fun, and that was the first time I played Overcooked as well. So, it just also works with 2 people, or multiple people as well. I thought that the quality would drop if there were multiple people playing, because all of that input, but it was amazing. It was still smooth as butter. And I have no clue how Stadia and Amazon Luna are able to collaborate with these developers to bring out this amazing content. Like, I mean, I thought it was going to be something like Parsec. How you can, I don't know if you guys know what Parsec is, but it's basically this platform where you can play games with other people across the internet. And I thought it was going to be quality like that, because Parsec doesn't really run that well for me, to be honest, but I can see it running well for other people. I thought it was going to be like that, but cloud gaming is so much more, and I love it, and it's amazing.
Well, thank you for that ending statement. In conclusion, I mean, I guess cloud gaming is the new thing. Try it out. There's Stadia, like we previously said. There's Amazon Luna. We can put those links in the description. Yeah, sure. We'll put them in the description if you want to go check them out. So moving on to our next topic, we have a little bit of we have like a little series where we get, into the dirt and the grime. So this new topic is Black Lives Matter. Mm. BLM in all of its glory. Um, I don't even want to start off. I'll actually start with Ethan. Ethan, what are your thoughts about Black Lives Matter, man?
Black Lives Matter as a movement, it is beautiful, it is amazing, and I'll get on board with it because even I think that it hadn't been recognized. Black, okay, black people have been recognized, African American people have been recognized before this, before 2020, but not like it has then. That was when it first kind of blew up because we've been free, we've been freed from slavery, we've been technically unoppressed in a way, but oppression is still a thing on us because we got cops out here straight up just murking people, and it's not good, it's not good at all, and it took multiple people dying and their families losing people for people to kind of open their eyes, and I think that's insane. Like, we even have Black History Month, and yet like a whole month dedicated to the history and long comings of amazing black people, and yet America still couldn't open its eyes until now, because last year was full of catastrophes, and it took a single catastrophe like that to really make people say, oh, we gotta stop this, we gotta actually enact some change. And there had been people enacting change before that, yet it took this to get mostly all of America on board, because that's when we become true patriots, when America is supporting each other, when America supports all races, all ethnicities, everything. We're supposed to be the melting pot, mind you. So, now we're truly becoming that, a melting pot and a nation as a whole. And I love that so much. And it's all coming true. So, 2021 is the year where most of the stuff that had been affected by Black Lives Matter protests are really, coming to fruition. So I think that's cool. We got to keep up the good work. I'm going to pass this on to Tyson.
That was really well said.
You thought you were going to get it, Kenny. It's Tyson's turn to talk.
No, I wasn't. I was just about to make a comment that these cops were really getting kill streaks out in these streets. Like, they were really out here dropping UAVs and VTOL jets like it was just a daily game. Like, and that kind of hit me, bro. Like, I just want to say that. Anyway, all right, Tyson, what you got for me, man? What do you think about Black Lives Matter?
All right, it might be a little controversial, but I think Black Lives Matter, it used to be a really good movement, but like it's kind of turning toxic, because like you gotta think about it. For all these years, yes, it has not been this like brought up like this into like the media, but then again, we're still around here killing each other. Like, we got black men killing little black boys. Like, you already know about the incident up in PG County, right in front of it was Smoothie King, or like, and David Buster's. Like how y'all gonna kill, how little children gonna kill other little children? Like, where they getting the guns from? Where they getting the knives from? So I'm just like, I know it's their parents, like, and it's like black little boys and black little girls. I'm like, come on, man, like, we gotta do better. And then also, with Black Lives Matters, like, we know about the riots and protests back then. Sorry about my dad, he always coughing. But like, yeah. So about the protests, the awful thing is that I know there have been a black business who's been ransacked by some black supporters and some white supporters. Like, we can't be having that. Like, Black Lives Matters, yes, we stand for that. Yeah, I stand for that. But think about it from this perspective. Think about if you weren't black. Yeah, think about it if you weren't black. If you weren't black. Nah. Let me not say that. I'm gonna just say, me as a black person, I know I've not experienced true racism yet, because I live in like a safe community. Like, yeah. But I know if I go to somewhere like deep South Virginia or like somewhere south, I know, like, I think I forgot what the place is called, but it's called the most racist town in America. I forgot what it's called, but all I've seen a TikTok video of people just like literally it's just a white person holding up a Black Lives Matter flag. I mean sign. For some reason people are like these people driving by saying, hey, what you doing? It's like, don't you know you're white? Like, you're white. I'm like what is this?
Yeah, that was
why
in Arkansas.
That's awful.
Yeah,
that's real awful. Like what kind of, like, I've learned in like history class that racism is not, you're not born with it, you're taught it. And so like some people still teaching racism, like the KKK, you know, them B words, you already know I can't say that on here, but like to put it short, I know I like a little bit got off topic a little bit, but let me break it back. Black Lives Matters. Now we all know that it's this little news, little trend or something. Right now, Black Lives Matter has become a trend to support. That's what the awful thing is, because you will see like people on TikTok or like Instagram or Twitter be like, yeah, Black Lives Matter and all that, but then barely do anything. I'm not going to say I've done a lot. Like, yeah, I've not really done so much. I'm lazy. But it's not like, yeah, y'all get what I mean. But back to what I'm saying. Yeah, so y'all see how all these other people, you see how all the other people all over on media be like, yeah, Black Lives Matter. But then, here's the thing. On Twitter, these people be supporting Black Lives Matter, but they ain't even black. Like, I'm not saying you have to be black to support Black Lives Matter. But then, like, it's gotten to the point where white people are saying that black people would be offended by this. Like, for example, since I'm an artist myself, I've seen it. Well, it has not happened to me since I've not done nothing of the sort. But I've seen some people. I've seen like this case actually got me angry. So basically, you know how there's a little. Well, I don't know if y'all would know it, but there's a little situation with artists whitewashing and blackwashing the characters, and like whitewashing, you instantly just get like a backlash. People going to curse at you and death threats. Like, that's not right. That's a black character. But then we don't do the same for black character, like blackwashing. Now, it's like I've seen this one YouTuber. Well, I don't really follow them. It's just random since I follow art. But this YouTuber drew herself as an anime character. The thing is, the keyword herself, not she did not draw the anime character being black. She drew herself. And then people on Twitter responded with racist, like extremely racist stuff. Like, they drew her with like a bone in her nose, wearing like, you know, like African stuff that you see in them, like how Africans are portrayed in like cartoons. Like, I'll say, like, you know how them old racist cartoons are, like they dressed her like they drew her like that. And so, like, that's awful. That angered me. And then I don't know why, but maybe it's just because the YouTuber don't have that much fans or like supporters, but it just made me angry because people are not talking about it. And like, yeah. But another thing, yeah, I'm not done. So yeah, back to what I'm saying about on Twitter, white people saying black people are going to get offended by this when they, like, I've literally seen people drawn like semi-black characters, Asian characters, like they're Asians. It's not like they have to be black. Like, I'm not saying they're completely white, but I'm just saying they're Asians, and so like they're gonna have a tan or something. But then like I see these comments, little backlash on Twitter from white people, like get it, it's not even black people, it's just white people, like maybe some black little girls, but we all know them black little girls act like white people. Yeah, like we know, we let's be honest, like sometimes they be getting too inspired by the white people. It's vice versa, yeah. But then again, so there'd be white people. All right, let me not stop being racist, but like there'd be some white people in the comments being like, "Hey, this is not right. You should not post this." But like, let the man draw what he wants. Like, come on, man, it's not that big of a deal. Cause like, it's not like they're deliberately being racist. Because all they're doing is just drawing the character. Be like, yeah, that's how I see fit. This like. Sometimes the artists don't be having that color palette or something like that. I just don't really care. And tell you the truth, I know all like I can't, like I'm pretty sure like almost every single black person I know would like can, like if I show them a post of somebody supposedly whitewashing the black character, they would be like, bro, who cares? Like I know damn well everybody would be like, bro, who cares about this? Like no one cares about this. And so that proves my point. Yeah, Black Lives Matter is like, I'm not saying it's bad, but like it's complicated. I'm trying to think of a word. Yeah, it's complicated, but like its goal is being derived from the like the main goal. Like,
Yeah.
this people. Yeah.
And
yeah,
like,
I get it.
and like basically, yeah, I can see what you're saying. Like, me personally, like I get what you're trying to say, and I don't, me too. Like, I don't like when people that aren't the ones that are actually getting affected by the racism and such, blowing it out of proportion. Like it's even like me with my personal life. Like if I have a problem and and like you want me to tell you what my problem is, and I tell you what it is, and you blow it out of proportions, I don't like that. Don't make a bigger deal out of it than I am. I'm supposed to be the one like suffering in pain. I'm not saying you can't help, but don't stand there and just like yell and blow it out of proportions, because then you're worrying me more. And when you start to inflict that upon an entire race, then it's like a whole different thing. So, yeah, just like, this goes back to one of our main messages on this podcast. MYOB, mind your own business. Like, support it, do what you gotta do, but come on, there's only so much you can stretch it to before it becomes like not even support anymore, and it becomes like just pontification. It just becomes you in the popcorn gallery. Just chill out, chillax, do what you gotta do, support it if you need to, but if the people that are getting affected aren't like blowing it out of proportions like you are, then you need to take a check, because then that gets people mad. I personally I'm trying my best not to die over this, but even like on Twitter, you have people with like Twitter and Instagram, they have like BLM in their on their profile. Like they're like Black Lives Matter. Then they're like, yeah, I support Black Lives Matter. I'm like, how have you supported Black Lives Matter? Like, you, just because you say that you support it doesn't mean you support it. That's not what support is. I can say I made a cake. That doesn't mean I actually made a cake, because saying that I made a cake isn't what making a cake is. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah, I definitely can.
Yeah,
I've just been sitting here like, wait, like, hey, let me tell you something. This is some juicy stuff, man. Like, I'm listening, and at first I was like looking at Tyson like, I'm sorry, what? Like, I was looking at him like, yo, you hear yourself right now? Like, you talking crazy. But then I tried to, like, listen with an open mind, and I realized that he's actually really right. Like, and he just said so many things that are actually like really facts, and like that's why we call him the fact man. Like, you know, he was talking about how Black Lives
Speak facts, no
no
fans.
facts, no fans. Like he was talking about how Black Lives Matter became a trend, and that's actually where I was going. Like when I wanted to start, I was literally gonna say that I don't even mess with Black Lives Matter no more. And it's not even like, oh my god, like he just said he doesn't mess with Black Lives Matter, he doesn't support them. No. And to a degree, it's not even like I have to support them because I live the life. I live it. I had to grow up in a racist school, all in Montgomery County, like racist, bro. And it's the places that they're not racist, you know, like the place in Arkansas you're talking about, you know what I'm saying? So if you're a black person, you're gonna die. But like, it's the subtle racism. You know what I mean? Every single time you raise your hand out of turn, you get your card changed because this is elementary school. So, you know, so a white kid would spit on a teacher or would, you know, break their desk or something and nothing happens to them. But me as a black kid, if I raise my hand out of turn or she just feels like it, she'll give me a red card. And I got in so much trouble for that. And all the time, my parents always do this. And like sometimes it gets annoying, but sometimes it really doesn't. Because it's like I really think about like what I had to go through at that school. And they just randomly say, like when we're talking about our past, they'll just randomly be like, I'm sorry for what I put you through. And I'm like, bruh, it's just the school. But it taught like me and my siblings and just like me in general, it taught me at a young age that I'm always gonna be a lesser person. And that's what I grew up with. Real talk. That's what I grew up with. That's what I thought I was. Because I'm just some lesser kid who's intruding at this school. I can't have anything prestige. I can't, you know what I'm saying? So like that was what was drilled into me because that's what I thought. And that's what I had learned. That's what I picked up on. But then I had to realize when I kind of went on a journey and went to a different school and started my own things, I learned that I was not only just a special person, but I was a star. So, and everybody listening to this, every single person is special. Every single person in some type of way. And specifically speaking, Tyson in art, his art is really great. Ethan in coding and stuff. Me, like, you know what I'm saying? But like everybody's special.
Oh.
Everybody has different qualities and stuff, you know. And I just think that like the way that Black Lives Matter has become a trend, like invigorates. Like I don't even think that's what I worded, but it just makes my blood boil. And no hate to her because she low-key makes some alright music, but Madison Beer, right? I don't know if you know her, but she's just a white girl on TikTok. And I don't say that to be like, you know, rude, like white girl. She's white, but you know, she was like, oh yeah, Black Lives Matter, and she made a TikTok and you know millions of likes because she's influential on TikTok. But come to realize, she went to the protesting, to the peaceful protesting, I may add, if we really want to get into that. She went there to take a photo shoot and then dipped. So what does that say about the people who are really just using this as an opportunity to gain more followers, to gain the respect of the black community? People say the black community are harsh, but in reality, the black community is just protective of their own because the forces out there that are supposed to protect us don't do their job. Let's talk
Exactly.
about it.
It's like, it's just like how the Wakandans were, for instance. I know they're fictional, made-up people, but it's exactly how they were. They knew that if they released their weapons to the public, and if they released that they weren't, you know, this nation in poverty to the public, then they would be attacked, so they had to protect their own. But, you know, moving on, we gotta get to the third topic. We gotta spin it, guys. So, we're gonna talk about African Americans in video games. Since, you know, we talk about technology here, we talk about video games here, you know what I mean. We gotta get it started. So, I want to start off with Miles Morales. We all know him, we all love him, and
let me start.
we all know that Miles Morales was he blew up. His game blew up because, he's a lovable character and he comes from like this African American and, Hispanic community where it's just great to see like the people of his community interacting with him. Like the original Spider-Man game, I watched it all. I didn't play it, but I watched the playthrough of it and I really love the story, but you didn't really see Peter Parker interacting with his community around him like that. And that's what made Miles Morales special. The fact that he not only saved the day, but everyone on the block knew him. They knew his mother, they knew his father, they knew Miles Morales for who he really was. Not even just Spider-Man, but him as a character. And that's what I love. That's what I love when they incorporate in these video games with black characters, because only now are people starting to realize that that's where it's at with black characters in video games. They're realizing that, our roots run deep and we affect the community around us, and it's really good for storytelling. It just makes such an impact on everything. Even things like Mafia 3. I don't know if you guys have played Mafia 3, but it's basically about a guy named Lincoln Clay. He's an African American, and he has to start his own, basically, mafia empire and kind of rise up because the people that he knew and loved were killed by the mafia boss, Sal Marcano. So it's a game kind of like GTA. Well, it has a lot of the features like GTA, but the story is more enticing. So that's like the main point of the game, the story. Like the story writers for this game, the writers were amazing with it because they really reflected how things were back then in that era that he was in. Because this isn't modern day, by the way. This is like back when clan folk were more, abundant and such. So,
As in the KKK.
yes, clan folk. So, like
Right.
in this game, you have this young black man who is coming back from Vietnam because he went to war, and he's coming back, and he pulls off this heist, and everyone he knows and loves gets killed by Sal Marcano, the highest up guy in the mafia boss. So he has to take down rackets and assign the rackets to different people so he can create his mafia empire and eventually have a finale where he shows down with the mafia boss and takes revenge and whatnot. And the narrative design is so amazing because, like I said, it's a huge map and it reflects just how it was, because this takes place in the bayou, so there's a bunch of racist stuff. So it reflects just how it is down there. You don't see any cutbacks from it. They don't hold back because this is how it was. That's not even creative storytelling. That's truth storytelling in an African American community. Because in this game, you have white folk saying the N-word towards your character as they try to kill him, and you gotta like fight back and such and show your might. So it's realistic. They don't cut corners because they gotta show how it actually was. And I respect that, 2K. I respect that. Come on now. And we need more narrative design where they tell the truth, because most of the time they show us, like in these games and in these productions, where they just have a black character and they think that's just it, but they don't like to reflect the community around them, the land around them, and introduce that into the narrative. But anyways, that's how I feel about it.
I think I'm not even gonna lie. I was thinking, like, a part of me was just like, let me bring this back to Miles Morales, but like what you just said shook me, and I can definitely say that it shook Tyson as well. Like for a second, because the N-word is so, like, I feel like it's just such, to me, it's a very dumb thing. Like, our white people's ancestors had called us something that was meant to degrade us, and our ancestors, at least, not us, actually us, but that's what they called our ancestors, to degrade them and make them feel like pieces of trash, as they suppressed them because they didn't have enough time and enough, like they didn't have any oxygen, they didn't have any space to breathe, to get running on their feet, so they clipped their wings and made slaves and shipped them around, and they were so jumbled that they're just people who have to work for these white slave masters now. And I'm not even gonna lie, white people are cunning for that. Very, very evil, but cunning. And even cunning has a malicious intent behind it. So it's just like, when I think like, when Ethan just said like they didn't hold back, these game makers didn't hold back, like I certainly respect that. Like, to me, I haven't played it, I haven't heard of it, I might go check it out, but it's definitely stamped. Like, to me, that's stamped, because so many people hide behind like this word. Not even black people, I'm talking about white people. Like, you will see a black person say, the N word, or maybe a faceless black person say an N word, and you would find so much hate and racism in the comments, and you'll be like, hold on, hold down. Last I checked, you were a different ethnicity, but the ones who used it on us. So we've taken what you tried to like, we took this weapon that you made against us, and now we've turned it on you. So we've turned it into something that means, being in a brotherhood, like, being close, being tight. We've taken that and we've made it our own. We've solidified, a society between a black community that empowers each other when using that word and not degrading us. So I definitely respect, these game makers for doing that. And I'm not saying game makers run wild. You guys all have the N-word pass, but for you setting that setting in the time, like, that's really, really valid. And for me to wrap up my statement, you know black characters and their community is something that is so underrated in games. Not only is it not talked enough, it's not animated enough, nothing. And that's why I was just so happy when Ethan said that, because I thought that as well. When I played the game, I was like, yo, this is and it's like, it's just so it gives such like a warm vibe that you're just like, I want to be a part of this community. Like, I want to know some of these people. And that's the truth. That's the truth. Like, for the specific part, for this example, to give you a quick example, when Miles met a deaf girl. And he knew ASL already. So he managed to, continue to engage her and make her feel welcome. And, because in the game, she like did spray paint art on the walls. Very beautiful, if I might add. Shout out to the artists, for Miles Morales. But you know what I'm saying? So he managed to keep her, in the mix, keep her in the community, and made sure he shouted out her art every time he saw it. So stuff like that, when you're like, making your way downtown and you're snapping your fingers, pointing at every other person on the sidewalk, that concept, they really, really captured that well. So, I've completed my statement, and Tyson, I'm going to finally ask you, what are your thoughts about the black community and African American characters in games?
I can't really say much about it because, like, I have played games with black characters in them, but then I've not played any recent one because the only one I can recall right now is a game called Prototype 2. It was where a black man was given mutation powers by a white man or light skinned person named Alex Mercer. And yeah, it was a cool game. I ain't gonna hold you. That game got me hype as hell. I really like that game. I love that game. It's a game that down deep in my heart. Even though it was really brutal and gory, but still, I liked it very much because like it just had that black aspect. Like I think it was situated in maybe New York, maybe, but I really liked it. And like it did not have the little cursing thing. And also another thing about that cursing game, about Mafia 3, and about the characters, the enemies cursing at the main character. just think about it. Uh, how much they pay them little? How much they pay the white voice actors to say the N word? I mean,
Well, it was if you think about it logically, I'm not going to hold them for that cuz I guess that's kind of fair since they're doing it to accurately represent the world around it and to tell the narrative how it is. It's kind of like in Django where you have the white actors saying the N-word, but they had to do that in order to get the narrative there. They had to yeah, they had
Bug is
to
the same thing.
yeah, they had to do it in order to actually show you that's how it was. Because when you just tell somebody that's what they were doing and such, you just tell them, oh, they did this, they said that, then it doesn't really have an effect. But if you directly show them through media, like just even modern day media like this, they're like, dang, man. And it really opens your eyes. Like, that's really how it was. So, I guess I get a pass with that since, if someone had to do it eventually.
Yeah, the reality is really just that, like, to accurately depict how white people really didn't care. And I would say didn't and put that in past tense, because I hope and believe that white people have kind of changed and opened up their hearts to the African American community and culture, and not just African Americans but of other ethnicities as well. But to accurately depict like their complete hatred, you really just have to you have to use that word, because that's what that's what those type of people use to just make you feel awful and like scum. So I definitely agree with Ethan on that. Like, they get a pass because they definitely do. Anyway, back to what you were saying, Tyson.
let's be honest. Let's really be honest here. So, I'm gonna divide this up in two. So, there are some white people who aspire to be black. We know about that. And then there's white people who just want to be the same. Now, about the white people who want to be the same, I know this is deriving from the topic, but we still talking about African Americans. And yeah, so from what I know is that most of the time they tell the white kids, be careful around them black kids. We already know, because if you walk around a white person, they're gonna be like, there's multiple things that could happen. They're either gonna look at you weird or just stay away from you. And it's only some that probably would just be cool with you. And I'm pretty sure that's only if they're in like a full black community. They're probably still going to take some time to get used to it, but yeah, that's the only case. But if it's a black person is a minority in the community, they're going to be like, stay away from him and like watch out for him. And like, we all know this because we've seen the videos. We've seen the videos where like that's even the reason why there's police brutality, because these people, they be like, black people are known for doing this stuff. And I'm not going to say they're completely wrong, but they just can't assume it for all. That's basically like saying all white people are racist. All white people aren't. There's just some that might hate your guts just because of your skin, and just most, they just don't care. But then that doesn't derive from, you can be racist without even knowing, because we already know, we've seen videos on TikTok and all that. These people be like, they already make assumptions that the black person did it. Like, let me reference a funny little meme I seen on Instagram. So basically, some old couple instantly just randomly assumed that a black man was making drugs in his garage. That video was kind of funny though. Basically, the man didn't even do anything, and like, it's the same thing. I remember, I know y'all seen that video where I think a army sergeant was telling a black person who was just jogging to get off his lawn or like get away, when all he did was just walk. So that's what I'm trying to say. That like they say they're not being racist, but they're being racist. And oh yeah, about the white people trying to be black, we see it everywhere. You see it everywhere on media. You see how they try to be like rapping like black people. We already know hip hop was originated off of black people. And then like like gangster stuff, that's originated from black people. Like I'm not saying they can't, but it's just getting to the point where it's just like
It's
you should
cringy.
stop. Yes, like you should just stop. Like think about your actions. Where are your parents? Where's your mom? Where your family? But like, yeah, because like I be seeing on TikTok, I be seeing these little white boys, and they be around our age. That's awful. They be our age or younger. They be like saying the N word, like, oh yeah, I say the N word. I'm tough and all that. Like, no, you aren't. You look like a disabled kid. But like, you look like you need help in life. Like, saying the N word is not going to give you any benefits in life. You already got the white privilege. Well, nah. Let's not say white privilege, but you already got like people are not going to assume that you did it. Like Brian did it. They aren't going to assume that you shot a person if you just walking around the alleyway. They ain't going to assume that. You already know. Also, like even if a white person wears all black, we already know they ain't going to assume he did it. But if a black person wears all black, they go on to think like, oh, he must have done it. He looking suspicious over there. He looking real sussy over there. Yeah, they gonna be like that.
Yeah, and it's yeah, I think that you're right where you're talking about how, you know, racism just runs so deep into some of these people's bloods, like it's encrypted into them and they don't even realize it. So, you know, like specifically like even with the bigger icons like that, bigger icons have really showed this nation, this country, you know, how it's deep encrypted into that they are as well. So when you have bigger influencers and you have bigger, you know, country icons, of course people are going to start to think it's fine. Like the CEO of Papa John, did you know, Papa John's, did you know that they had to train him for 20
Oh,
months for him
I
not
mean,
to use racial slurs? I can't believe that. An actual CEO of this company. Like that makes me not want to eat their food anymore, but I get hungry. You know what I mean?
yeah. So let's get back on topic. We definitely, we kind of all dabbled and put our foot in that topic of black representation, like black characters and their representation in video games, and how a couple games did them very well and they depicted the lives of black people. um and I just low-key want to quickly make a statement, like, we don't knock on white people. Like, I love white people. My true goal in life after I'm successful is to see, a coherent nation, but I'm probably gonna leave before that'll happen. So hey, but like that's just what I want to see. Like Ethan, in the beginning of the podcast, you made a reference to the nickname of this country called the melting pot, and like I just feel like when something doesn't live, when you don't live up to your name, like that's sad. You want to live up to your name and be the best you possibly can, be the best version, of you that you can be. And just like a quick sub note to that, um, to make a quick example, now that this online learning thing has been going on, we've really been seeing like the mental health of a lot of students and teachers and stuff and adults and just people in general. But you know what I'm saying? So now that we understand a little more about mental health and stuff, we're getting into that, like, you did the best you could, and thank you for at least trying. But for those who are, blatantly racist, and you teach your kids, to be racist, you aren't trying. You're the problem. And it's just like, I feel like I'm ashamed to know that I have to live in a country with those type of people. You know what I mean? Like I watched a video where I watched a video where a father brought his son. He said, "Hey, son, come here." And I'm watching. I realize the caption, "This is what's wrong with America." I'm like, hold on, what's going on? Pulls up a picture. Two girls, two little girls, very very sweet. And these girls, they're playing, running in a field. One of them is African American. One of them is white. And he says, "Son, what's wrong with this picture?" And I think like there was something else, but you get the idea. And he was teaching his son on a camera, video recording, telling his son, trying to drill into his very innocent mind, probably a loving mind, until it turned into whatever he turned it into. But he literally told him, as the sun is going, "Oh, is the sun not there? Oh, is the grass green instead of yellow?" Like, and he's really trying his hardest to please his dad, and like, man, I can't find what dad wants me to find. Dang. But in reality, what he's trying to get his son to realize is that black people shouldn't be with white people. So this is going to sound a little controversial, which is kind of crazy, but I don't think we should have a Black Lives Matter month. I'm sorry, not Black Lives Matter. Black History Month. Do you have a white people month? Out of all the months of the year, let's talk about it. Do we have a white people month? Do we have
Oh, let's think about it. Let's think about it. Okay, so
Let's talk
I
about it.
I disagree with, we shouldn't have a Black History Month because, you know, okay, I'm going to say something as well that might be a little controversial, but it's whatever. And y'all are just going to have to, hang it like it is. Just chill out with me.
Spit out.
Because, yeah, I'm about to spit. I'm about to spit some straight facts. So, if we look up slavery start date, or slavery start year. So, slavery in the United States was a legal institution of human chattel slavery, comprising primarily of Africans and African Americans that existed in the United States of America from its founding in 1776 until the passage of the 13th Amendment in 1865. That is why we have Black History Month and why we don't have White History Month, because black people have a story to tell about slavery. They had their chance. They were living highballing. They had slaves doing work for them in the house and out on the field in the hot sun. They were killing them. They were beating them. They were raping them. This is what it is.
Whoa.
No, I'm gonna say it. It's because people have to know this. That's not a bad word. It's not. It's true. That's why we have Caucasian blood in us. Because of that. That is how it is. They were selling people for so many years, from 1776 to 1865, and then even then, most slave owners refused to free their African and their African American slaves. They refused, and there were still freaking places where it was allowed, and it was still accepted. And I think I have a right to get mad because they treated us like animals. We are like, we're humans, so
It's your juice.
it's messed up. So that is why we have Black History Month, and we have to keep Black History Month because it informs future generations of what happened. Because if we stop telling them about this, if we stop teaching this, it's gonna die out, and people are gonna think it's okay to go back to racism. That's basically what they had to do to the CEO of Papa John. They had to nail it into his head constantly that it's bad, and that's what they're doing on Black History Month. They're nailing it into people's heads what happened, what is currently going on in our nation, how we can make it better. When you strip people away from that, then that becomes a problem, because people think it's okay to return to their old ways, because there's people still trying to do it. But that's just my opinion. That's how I feel about it.
No. So I mean,
Nah, you already spoke. Let me speak. Alright, Ashley, Kenny, if you want to say your thing before this, because I don't think I can cut it up a little bit.
So let me just like add one last thing on. And Ethan, what you just said, that was kind of like, you know, revolutionary. Not even gonna lie, like it's just really just like we're humans, just treat us as such. That one statement could literally counter all of racism, quite literally, because it's just logical sense. Why are you treating us like something we're not? You know, for the um it, this is a kind of like a touchy, controversial subject because we're like trying to merge them into society now. For the LGBTQ plus community, for anyone, you know, anybody different, you want to be who you are, and we want you to shine, because as a human being, that's what we do. You know, we succeed, cool, but don't treat us as something we're not. Just let us be what we want to be, and don't, you know, kill us for it. That's like that in itself can just dismantle all whatever logic you have behind slavery. But what I wanted to say was that I think I kind of, you know, messed up with what I was trying to say. Not that we shouldn't have black History Month, because we definitely should. But it's just like, for every person that we meet or every person that we talk about, it shouldn't be there was this black person, there was this white person, there was this Hispanic person. You see what I'm saying? You gotta think about that. You gotta let that sink in for a little bit. Why can't it just be there was this person that I met? Why do we always have to, you know, make it clear someone's ethnicity? There's no point. We don't have to. We don't need to. And it's just like we've divided ourselves, you know, and instead of it becoming a melting pot, it's now you know, like a war zone. It's war grounds. Split up in different categories. Because now we all just have our own section. And it really shouldn't be that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, it really shouldn't. So, like, that's what I meant by, you know, not always reminding people that, you know, Black History Month, and, you know, that's the point that I was trying to make, that we shouldn't always be calling people out on their ethnicity. Because at the same time, you know, life is always going to be a gamble. So we could gamble taking away Black History Month and just seeing if society will kind of wipe away, like, having to always refer to, you know, people like referring to those people as black and remembering all these black people. Not that we shouldn't praise what they did, but if you understand what I'm trying to say, like, the people that, like you said, are trying to bring back racism or whatever, when we keep reminding them, you know, about black people, you see what I'm saying? Like, we keep reminding them about how we won the slavery war, which we low-key didn't. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to keep teaching their kids that lesson. They're going to keep teaching that, oh, these people have a Black History Month. Well, one day, son, you're going to dismantle that. Or you're going to, you see what I'm saying? So if we just, like, to a degree, that's what I was saying shortly ago, saying that life is going to be a gamble. Because it'll always be a gamble when you're playing with, you know, the future of a society like that. So will it have a positive outcome? And, you know, maybe they do forget about this and stop categorizing us. You know what I'm saying? Or will there be a negative outcome? And like Ethan said, if we remove it, things will go back to the way they were. So that was just my thought, that we shouldn't always just, you know, shove down ethnicities and make it clear that there's a difference between us, because a melting pot means that everything is melted together. There is no indifference. It's just one, and that's where we need to be back, respectfully.
I would like to speak a little bit more about that before we close up. I like what you said about how the melting pot is not really a melting pot. So here's my thought. It might sound a little controversial, but it's not, and I'm gonna try to say this quick. So, yeah, we are kind of like split up into different types of groups: the Asians, the Mexicans, the whites, the Caucasians, the blacks, yeah, all that. In a real melting pot, there wouldn't be anything like that. It shouldn't be like oil. It doesn't mixed with water. You already know different density levels. And so I would like to speak more upon that, but then related to Black History Month, basically, I would not say because of what Ethan said, I really think he really has a point about we need to remind our culture, our people about what has happened in the past and how we can never let that happen again. But then again, we can't be like this. There is racism, but there is also something called reverse racism, because a lot of Black people, we already know, we seen it, we Black ourselves, we seen, like, all, be honest, don't learning about history, all this stuff, make you angry?
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
And so that leads to Black people hating white people, which means they can never fix that bond. I mean, fix that little crack in history, the little whatever word else for it. But yeah, get what I mean. So, like, this is not exactly what Martin Luther King dreamed. Like, the thoughts in his speech. You see, here's what I'm saying I'm gonna leave y'all with. Let's forgive, but let's not forget.
Ooh.
That's the big, because you can always teach the young generation about what they have done to us, but we must make sure it doesn't lead to hatred. So that can lead to actually them knowing what the white people have done in the past and how we can prevent that and make sure we have a bond, and so then we can be united under one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we gotta close on that. That was clean.
That was clean. So, with that being said, everybody, we're going to end off this podcast today. We hope you enjoyed it. We talked about BLM, we talked about African American characters in video games and Black representation in video games, and we talked about cloud gaming at the beginning and how it is a technological advancement that is encroaching on our grounds quickly. So, with that being said, we need to close off now. Make sure to check the links down in the description to learn more about Black Lives Matters and to learn more about everything we talked about here today. Peace out, everyone. We will see you soon.
Bye, guys.